Today, we're going to use a little bit of medium in a big way. A little bit of medium, big what? Medium's the program. Never mind. G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Draw with Jazza. I'm Jazza, and today we're going to be using the Oculus Rift and a program called Oculus Medium, which is an amazing sculpting program. It's like ZBrush on steroids, but you get to use your hands instead of a mouse. It's really cool. And if you want to see some of the work other people have done or are doing in Medium, I recommend checking out the Facebook pages I'll link to in the description that are run by the people who make the program. So if you want to get a feel as to what the program has potential to do, that's a great place to start. Random voiceover interrupting here. I only found out about this after the video was finished being edited, mainly because the news hit like right now, which is a few weeks after I recorded the video, but I don't want to slow the video down by adding this, so I'm going to talk super fast. Medium 2.0 has just been released, a featureful update to the program that I use in this video. I feel the need to clarify once again, I am not sponsored by Oculus, Facebook, or Medium, but I had so much fun using this program and I was so impressed with its features, I had to tell you about this update, which includes performance increases, new tutorials, a new elastic move tool, improved export workflow between Medium and other development programs, and support for up to 100 layers within your sculpt. On top of this, you can import your Medium sculpts directly into your Oculus home space. There's more than this, but I was just excited to see this update and I had to share it with you. So trust me, you'll see me coming back to this program in the future. And if you're interested in getting into VR and sculpting and you're wondering if it's practical and powerful, the answer is yes. Last time I used Medium, I just sort of improvised my way through it. This time, I want to know what I'm doing and make something substantial. So I'm just going to plow through all of the tutorial content all in a row and just go nuts until I feel like I really understand the program this time. But I think there's an opportunity here that I'm going to take advantage of, and that is the fact that with the power of editing, it doesn't have to take any time at all. We'll get started very shortly. So I can do something like this. I can like be like Neo in the Matrix. You know in that scene where they like jack him in and then he goes and then it's like, I know Kung Fu. It'll be like that, but Medium. You ready? I know Medium. All right, let me show you what I've learned. Here we are in the Matrix. This is Oculus Medium, and this is just a bit of a flashback for you to remind you of where we've sort of come from. This is from the other video and the only other video where I used Oculus Medium, and this was the first thing I ever made. No tutorials, no help, no nothing, and it's hideous. This is the same model after I've gone through the tutorials. Now, obviously it's not perfect, but the difference, of course, is quite stark. Just based on all those lessons I learned quite a bit about coloring and texturing and material reflectiveness and all this stuff. Now this was, again, a trial thing, a trial sculpt, so it's not perfect, but you know what? It's a lot better than what I had going on before. So now I feel like I can actually maybe make something reasonably worthwhile. And to do this, I'm actually gonna go in the direction of creating a monster, as you might imagine, because monsters I think are easiest to sculpt, look the coolest without, you know, needing to be really elegant. And to come up with what monster I'm going to be creating, I'm going to be using my Arty Games app, which can randomly generate, you know, characters and environments and a whole bunch of other stuff, scribble challenges, color challenges, all that stuff. I'll put the link in the description if you want to check it out. But there's actually a custom list generator, which I've created two custom lists, one for animals and another for monsters, and I'm creating a custom generated list that generates 2 animals and 1 monster. So for example, if I generate from this little list I've put together, I get eagle, lizard, and golem. So that's just an example. Another example, tiger, ape, and winged demon. So we're gonna do a bit of a monster mash based on the next creature I generate. Tap. Oh god. Tiger, monkey, and gargoyle. I feel like this is pretty fitting. This should be cool. I have no idea what it'll look like in the end. Alright, Mr. Orc, we're done with you now. He looks like an orc who spent a day in the office. Before we go, I do have to do something. This is very important. I feel like Mr. Orc needs a little bit of business attire. So I'm just gonna give him a collared shirt. Bit of a makeover here, Mr. Mr. Dorky Orky. I like that. That's your name now. Okay, there we go. Mr. Dorky Orky. Ready for the end of the financial year. You've got charts to fill, Dorky. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Let's start a new piece. All right, let's do this. Now, gargoyle is fairly straightforward. We've got the gargoyle-y pose. It's got to be sort of stone-esque, and we want some wings in there. I think we'll go for like a stone statue because that can be, you know, it makes it easier on me color-wise. But that means I can also spend more time focusing on the textures and the actual character and shape and stuff. So let's start off. I actually want to go into in the stamps here. I can pick human anatomy, and you can see that there's a bunch of default stuff here you can use and tweak. And there's a torso. So I'm going to use this male torso as a base, and I'm just going to use my move tool to give a bit of a hunchback. I don't mind this blue color, even though I sort of picked it accidentally. Oh, that's the color of the tie. It's kind of nice, but I will repaint it. Let's pick more of a stony color. There we go. For our tiger monkey gargoyle, I'm just going to select my basic sort of pill shape here, and I'm going to rough in just a basic pose. Here's my base pose. We're obviously going to change things up quite dramatically. And I'll tell you what, I'm just going to select a stamp of human anatomy. Let's pick a head. And now I know this is human. We're obviously going to change it dramatically, like I said. But if we just put the base pose in, it gives us something to work from. Okay. Already, this is looking pretty majestic. Hello. I'm tempted to call it a finished artwork. Enough kidding around, kids. I'm gonna make some very simple wings here. There we go. That's our tiger monkey gargoyle base. Let's actually start to make it look a little bit like something. And what I'm gonna do is up the resolution of the whole thing so that as I add stuff to the sculpture, it'll, ding, chicken's done. It'll just look a little bit more refined. Because we're working with a gargoyle, I'm gonna use a rock stamp and just start to put in some proper geometry plans. Now, here's something I stupidly hadn't figured out last time I used this. Double tap this cog icon and you can erase. My goodness, the stupid workarounds I used last time instead of actually just, you know, erasing. And let's not forget the other thing I've learned since last time is saving as I go. I didn't save, I didn't save, I didn't save. No! Why? No, why? Now this is a gargoyle. It has to look pretty badass. So we're gonna have a pretty bulky frame. I mean, that fits well with the monkey thing. Bit more of that sort of gorilla-ish look, I guess you could say. But we also need to find out ways to have it look like, oh, this is an imposing position. We need to find ways for the tiger to have a prominent place as well. I feel like I need a bit of a base for this dude to be on. There's actually a brush stamp. Where are you? Look at this, 3D print stands. I feel like I might go a classic, like just something that looks a bit more like a tabletop stand. I'm gonna go for those really big forearms, and we'll add like hair textures and all that stuff later. Needs a bit more of a tushy. Come on, big boy. Let's get your butt happening. I like big gargoyle butt. Right, so we've got the physique of the body happening, but now we need to really start adding in different elements of different creatures. So, tiger, we're gonna need a tail, and I also think the face is where we can add a bit of this as well. Rather than adding clay, let's just move things around a bit. Tigers have sort of feline faces, for, you know, obviously. So I'm gonna bring the ears up. See, already that looks much more tiger-esque just by moving a few things around. We're obviously gonna want to add a bit of a snout look, and this is where we start to experiment a bit. Bring in these higher cheekbones. So for now, I'm actually gonna start going through and smoothing the stuff I've put in here just to see what we end up with. Oof. I'm blowtorching this crotch. Alright, so you can see the core of the dude coming together here. Obviously there's still some awkward shapes and stuff that needs to be filled in, like the wings and the tail. But before I get to that stuff, I really want to refine the pose. We've got this sort of weird shoulders back thing. I want to hunch the shoulders forward more. So I'm just going to use the move tool and just bring this forward like that. That's just making a much more organic looking hunch. Same with the head. He's just sort of got his head sort of upright. I want to slouch it a bit. So even just that, you can see I've just moved the head down like that, and it creates a much more organic looking pose. All right, so now we need to start playing around with the details, and let's start off with the hands and feet, and we'll move on to the tail and wings, and then really refine the geometry. Now I'm going to speed up through this a bit, just sort of time lapse it, because it's going to be somewhat time consuming, I imagine, but this is where I'm really just going to sculpt out individual fingers and toes and switch between the sculpting tool and the erasing tool, and that's how I'm going to create a much more defined, refined look. I've made a lot of progress here. As you can see, I've got a much more refined character. There's only one problem. I'm supposed to be creating a tiger monkey gargoyle, and he's sort of just looking like a gargoyle. I've tried to incorporate, you know, the tiger-like hands and feet, I'll add the claws in a moment, and the monkey-like proportions, but I feel like now as I move on to color and texture, I can emphasize some of those features a bit more. Now, that being said, I was originally going to stick to this being a stone gargoyle, and I think I still might. So it's going to be challenging. It's going to be much more texture and proportion based. That's going to make it look like a bit of a mix of a monkey and a cat. Now you'll notice I just have one wing here. That's because I'm going to go through and do all the coloring and shaping and texturing and stuff, and then I can just duplicate it, flip it, and call it a day. What I want to do is select a stamp. I want to see if this will be any good to sort of use to create, there we go, sort of like a hair. Now it's a little rough looking for my liking, so I almost wonder if I should just sort of gently add it to the surface here. And that is already, I think, adding a little bit of a monkeyish look here. And based on where we place this hair, that can also make it look more like a monkey, because monkeys have sort of bare chests and hands and feet and stuff. There we go. This is looking pretty cool, and I must say, more like a monkey than I anticipated, which is really cool. It means I can keep that sort of stone look and find ways to work in these textures and stuff. Now I want a bit of this shape to, I don't know, have a little bit more of a shaggy look. Ruby? Sorry, couldn't help myself. I don't want it to be too even or symmetrical. We want it to look like a gritty, rough gargoyle. Look at that! That adds a lot. I really like that. And the good thing about this hairbrush is it can sort of be secondarily bit of a sensor brush. So as I come here to the crotch, I can just say, oh, he's got lots of hair, nothing to see here, folks. The texture of this hair does have a little bit more of a short and spiky look, which is more like the tiger than a monkey. So I'm liking how it's sort of walking that line between the two. That definitely looks so much more monkeyish. I love it. Oh my God, this is so much fun. Now, the tiger bit. Now, a lot of this is going to be in the head. Does that look tigerish? If we have these cheek things turn into like whiskers, I feel like that's much more monkey than tiger. Looks cool though. Maybe if I go bigger whiskers like this, like we could go like crazy. No, maybe not. Maybe I need to ease up on the hair. I think this is a good balance of hair. Maybe if I just add a little bit of, oh, here we go. That'll be a tigery look. It's like a secondary whiskers thing. So now let's make him look more tigery by messing with the details of his face. I'm going to select my claw stamp here, and I'm going to do two things with this. First, I'm going to define the features of the head by using it as a bit of an eraser, just to really get detailed here. And I'm going to use it to put in some fangs, and I think fangs will make him look quite cat-like. Does that look cat-like? It sort of does. Oh, that could be a cat-like thing. The bridge from the nose to the mouth, and then that little gap in the mouth. That's pretty cool. Like, we're getting there. I think another thing that's going to add a lot of tiger aesthetic is going to be claws. So let's go in and add these now. Really, I can just go in and stamp this in the hands. Look at that. That ain't no monkey look. Definitely got the tiger happening. Let's add a tail. Now we've got the monkey look happening well and truly, so I don't know how to particularly intentionally make it look more like a tiger tail. I think maybe like that if I curve it around the front. Now we select our hair texture and just add it in. All right, here we go. Look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like we're wrapping up with our core design. Let's move on to color. I know we sort of do have that flat color, but it looks way too flat for me. So I'm going to go into my paintbrush and I'm just going to cover the whole thing in, let's go a little bit more of a gray. Now, how can we color this so it still looks like stone, but doesn't look so flat? Well, first of all, I want to pick a darker color and maybe a slightly browner color. And I'm gonna go into the darker areas and just sort of add some extra shades. This is immediately going to really make the piece pop just by creating that contrast. Man, this feels amazing to do. It feels like I'm really like painting this thing. This isn't sponsored or anything, but this program is the bomb. Now with the spray brush, I can also just add some definition to some of the more interesting geometric features like the claws here, just by adding that little bit of extra division between the areas. Now look at that. Look at that stone surface compared to before. It's looking so much cooler. And then there is another thing I want to do. We've gone in and done shadows. I always like to go in and do just some ultra shadows in just some of the darkest areas. See what I mean about the paint adding detail? I mean, look at that face. Compared to what it was before the paint, it just looks higher resolution because of the detail I'm able to add with this. All right, so I've got my core shadows in. I'm just gonna pop into my color palette and we're gonna add some highlights. We'll bring the opacity down, just add some little areas in parts of the model. Now, almost last but not least, let's come in and do the wing. Now, I do need to shift my layer here because it's this layer, and we're gonna just paint this wing like that, and then we're gonna just do the same process very quickly. So we'll grab some shadows, and I can just fill this in with the spray paint, and then we'll select our light gray and just do some highlights. Look at that! Look at that awesome stone texture. Okay, so now we can grab this wing, duplicate, and flip, and just grab it. Oh, look at that. It flipped to exactly the place it needed to go. Oh my god, I'm in love with this program. I'm gonna merge the wings, and screw it, while we're at it, let's merge the body as well. And now with this dude on the one layer, I'm just gonna go in and add a few final touches. To do this, I'm just gonna select my paint sphere thing. I'm gonna select this gray color and I'm gonna pick maybe a slightly darker color, and I'm just gonna add some spots, and this is gonna create a bit of a stone texture, or make him look like he has chickenpox. Let's undo that. If they're smaller dots and I just tap them in, maybe that's the way to do it. This just makes it all look like the one material and brings it all together. Last but not least, I'm gonna take this base area and I'm gonna change the material. Let's go metal, and we'll sort of go like a mid shiny metal. And let's change the color. Let's go something like a dark desaturated blue. And there we have it. Oh my goodness, I wouldn't have imagined it would have looked this cool. We definitely have tiger, we definitely have monkey, and we have this gargoyle character combining the two. I am in love with this. This is so cool. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment in the comment section below, and also let me know what you think I should sculpt in the future. This has been so much fun. Once again, a huge shout out to Oculus Medium for making such an amazing program. Go check out their Facebook page and see what creations other people have done. I have had so much fun with this. Anyways, I've been talking a lot. This has been a very long video, but this has also been a lot of fun. It's time to reveal the goggle face. Oh my God. I've been at this for 7 hours and I've loved every second of it. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed the result and you had a lot of fun, and subscribe to Draw with Jazz for more fun with art and creativity in mediums like traditional art and virtual reality, of course. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and until next time, I'll see you later.
Make sure to subscribe to my channel to see more of my videos. And while you're at it, check out my shop where I sell ebooks, brushes, photo references, video courses, and more. There's another video you might enjoy from my channel over there, and you can also check out my behind the scenes daily vlog channel, Daily JAZZA'. That's it for now, and until next time, I'll see you later.